Welcome to all Caribbean entrepreneurs. If you've been ready and waiting to take your business digital and get paid online while you sip something strong on the beach, this podcast is for you. We'll hear from the Caribbean's finest entrepreneurs on topics like e-commerce, business development, brand building, social media, their wins and failures. This is the only place in the region helping you navigate the digital age from the Caribbean's perspective. This is Digipreneur FM. And now, let's give it up for the Digiboss himself, Mr. Karan Rose.
Thank you to everybody tuning in to another episode of the Digipreneur FM podcast. And as usual, it is your boy, the Digipreneur, the Digiboss, Mr. Rose. And DJ, you gotta fade us out. You gotta fade us all the way out, DJ, because we gotta talk to the people. We gotta talk to the people, all right? It is July 12th, 2023, and this is episode number 133. Episode 133. How are y'all beautiful people doing in the Digipreneur community, the Digipreneur family? How are y'all doing today? Check in, really check in and see how are you feeling. You good? Not so good? Are you feeling optimistic? Are you hopeful? You know, check in. Let me know how you guys are feeling today. Are you fighting a good fight? Let me know. Love to hear how you guys in the community are doing, you know. I'm okay. I am okay. I think these past couple of days, this has been a very busy week, and I've been trying to find some time for myself, but because this has been a jam-packed week, you know, time for self is I'm gonna put that off till next week. But I ain't gonna lie to you, I'm tired. I am good tired. I need I'm starting to get that nudge for, hey, you need a break. And I don't know if it's because I finally booked a straight vacation. I have not done this since September 2013. No, sorry, not September. I've not done this since December 2013, where I've booked a straight up vacation, not doing nothing but just vacation. And I've been able to go so long without a straight vacation just because over the years, I've figured out, what I like to do, and I've been, working towards, creating a life where I don't really need a vacation from, So since I started my business in 2016 up until this point, I don't ever feel like I've ever needed a vacation just because, again, I've created a life where I don't need a vacation from. As busy as it looks and as busy as some weeks and days get, I've never felt like I've needed a vacation, or I felt like, hey, I'm tired, I'm gonna pop down, or I myself have never gone through burnout, right? And this is all just testament to daily habits and creating something where, your daily, your breaks and your mental health is all taken into consideration on your day to day. So I don't ever feel like I've needed to, step away or take a vacation or take a break, or, you're getting close to burnout, and it's just never happened to me. However, this year has been a very busy one. It's been a great one thus far. But, I think over the past week, I've just been getting a nudge as to, hey, you know what? Yeah, you need a break. You need to go and, do nothing. Go take a week and do nothing, Go charge up, take a break, and just relax, collect your thoughts, and, see how we want to finish off the rest of the year. And yeah, so I finally booked that vacation, September. So can't even remember the dates, but yeah, I got a good bit of time in September where, don't call me. That's what I'm really trying to say. I'm really trying to say there's going to be some time in September where don't call me, don't message me. I don't want to know. I don't care. No, I cannot do this. No, I cannot go there. No, I cannot do nothing. I don't care. I am taking some time, So September, when I guess because, I have officially booked, I'm going to go do a resort. I guess because I officially booked the flights, the resorts, everything, where now, your body is just feeling like, hey, yeah, man, time to wind down. But we got to fight through because we have some things to do. Anywho, enough about me. Like I said, check in. I'd love to know how you guys are feeling. I am feeling a bit tired, but, the show goes on. And, before someone jumps in here and says, yeah, because you're busy, you need to take a break. And don't worry, I'm covered. I got that. I just want to make sure you guys are good as well. So anyways, it's episode number 133. What are we doing today? Today's topic is I want to jump back into the topic of influencer marketing. All right. But this episode is going to be focusing on the proper use of influencer marketing for businesses. Right. We touched on this, I think, maybe last year. Yeah, I think we touched on this last year. We did an episode talking about how companies are getting it wrong. That was last year. All right, that was last year. And now we want to dive into, the proper use of influencer marketing. Now, why we need to bring back up the topic of influencer marketing is because, companies in the Caribbean are still trying tactics that don't work. They also still have not built out any infrastructure for this to make sense, nor do they know what types of KPIs you should be looking for really outside of reach, right? And awareness, reach, those are the lowest metrics in this entire digital strategy game. Like there's nothing a business can do with reach, right? There's a lot more that needs to be measured, and there's more beneficial KPIs for businesses that they should be worried about, that they should be focusing on, right? We've also seen, more companies coming out trying to build platforms to connect brands and to connect influencers, and kudos to everybody doing their thing, right? My take on all these platforms is it's just never going to work the way that they want it to work. And not because of anything that they're doing, but because the companies don't understand influencer marketing, right? At the end of the day, this thing only works. The most important piece of the puzzle is not the influencers. It is the companies, because influencer marketing in itself is a business tool. And I think people forget that. People overlook and think that the most important piece of the equation is the influencers. Oh, they're popular. They've built the following. No. Because you could be popular and do your own thing and never work with a brand. Influencer marketing is a marketing tool for businesses. It's a way for businesses to tap into an audience or a network to build authority and build credibility, and to tap into a person that has influence over a market to then drive sales back to their business, or drive leads, or whatever the conversion is that they're trying to get, right? But we in the Caribbean, we stop at reach and awareness. We don't ever look at conversion. We don't ever look at ROI. We don't ever look at those things because we don't understand the business side of marketing, and we haven't built out any of the tools and the platforms to actually help with conversion. So the only thing that they could do is pay an influencer and get eyeballs to a product. But you don't have anything in place to even see whether or not your campaign was successful, how many leads, how many sales. You don't have those things in place. So it always falls flat. And that's why I will continue to say that the most important piece of influencer marketing is the companies. If the companies do not understand what influencer marketing is and how it works or have the things in place, then they're always going to be on the losing end because they can't tie in anything that they are putting out. They can't tie that into any ROI. And influencers are just making free money doing what they would have done anyway. Right? Shouting out a brand and continuing on with their life. So this episode, we're going to be talking about, the proper use of influencer marketing because it is a business tool, right? And it's a great tool in a marketer's toolkit when used correctly. All right? So let's break it down. Let's start off with, exactly what is influencer marketing? All right? What is influencer marketing really? Well, let me tell you. Influencer marketing is a type of social media marketing or digital marketing that utilizes endorsements and product placements from influential individuals and organizations. This strategy has become more popular recently due to the high user engagement on social media platforms. Influencers are usually people like celebrities, experts, thought leaders, or content creators. Let me say that again. Influencers are usually celebrities, experts, thought leaders, or content creators. Notice 2 of the 4 is experts and thought leaders, right? Right. With a dedicated online following. Their opinions and recommendations hold significant influence with their audience, making them valuable partners for brands looking to connect with potential consumers. Now, the reason why I wanted to highlight experts and thought leaders is because think about it for 1 second. You are a regular person and at the end of the day, we're all consumers first. Doesn't matter about your title, your job, where you are, CEO or Janet, doesn't matter. Everybody's a consumer, right? A consumer of somebody else's business and products. Somebody wakes up and they say they have a problem. So they wake up and they say, man, my feet are hurting. You have a problem. You jump on Google, you type in, hey, my heels are hurting. You read through all the potential things, and then you might find something that you might read an article on plantar fasciitis or whatever the term is, whatever. You might read something. And that might solve your problem, right? So the solution to that problem might be you need to wear sole pads. The Dr. Scholl's and things like that. Notice how I said Dr. Scholl's, right? That's a big brand who's created influence, right? But you might need some soles for your shoes, right? Let's just say that's the solution to your problem. It's not complicated. So you decide, okay, what is the best sole for your shoe? So then you jump on Google and you type in soles for shoes. All right? Soles for shoes. I'm going to type it in too. Soles for shoes. What comes up, first thing that comes up is soles for shoes, products on Amazon. First thing that comes up, right? If I scroll down, I'm seeing some stuff on Target, some stuff on Etsy, Your Soul, supportive, comfortable shoes, and a couple other things, right? Now, I'm also seeing images for different types of shoes, right? So what I could then do is click on one of the products. So if I click on the Amazon product, I can see what types of soles for shoes are available in terms of products. And then I do what we all do. I copy one of the product links, and I jump in YouTube, and I put that product in YouTube, right? Put that product in YouTube, and then I type in review. And then people also do the exact same thing on Google because remember, you could read, you could watch, you could listen, right? So I'd also put that exact same search query into Google, and I would look for customer reviews, right? People who have reviewed the products. And there's quite a few reviews that are on Google, and then there's quite a few reviews on YouTube, right? So people, there's one, Dr. Scholl's work massaging gel advanced insole. That's what it's called, insoles. Massaging insole gel, top 5 best insoles for work boots. So there's quite a bit from different people, different channels that are putting out content on insoles. So now that I have, watched a couple of reviews and I'm looking to see, are these people credible? Are these people experts? Are these people doctors? Because some of the people a good bit of the people that are putting out information on insoles are all doctors, right? That doctor is a thought leader and an expert in their field. So if they have a channel, they have a following, they are a credible doctor or whatever, right? I'm going to trust their opinion because they are an expert or a thought leader in their space. So if this doctor is recommending this is the best for your problem, then I'm going to take them at their word and purchase it. And the reason why you're looking for credible people is because you have a problem and you want somebody who is credible in the field that you have a problem with. So what we have a lot happening throughout the entire Caribbean is you'll have a company who is selling insoles and they will put a DJ. They will put a DJ to market the insoles. They will put just a regular content creator to market to market the insoles. Now, if the strategy is you have content from a doctor, right? If you have content from a doctor talking about how these things work, great. Love it. That's what you should be doing. If you decide to use a regular content creator, right? Then you need to vet that person. Does that person have problems? Are they a user of the said product? All right? And then we're going to be, when we decide to use them for the campaign, they're not going to be speaking to us as the expert. They're going to be speaking to us as the consumer. When you're going to that content creator, we want to hear, okay, you used it, that person should be diving into, I have been suffering from plantar fasciitis for years now, and I know you watch my videos where I'm running and jumping and all that stuff. And they're like, you know how much my feet hurt after a shoot? Anyways, I went and I checked out a doctor. I went to the foot specialist, Dr. So-and-so. They recommended me these things, and I've been testing them out. And honestly, after, 3-4 months of using these things, after shoots, these things are golden. They work for me. Go and check out Dr. So-and-so. Go check out the product. It's really worked for me, but again, don't take it from me. Go and visit your doctor first to make sure that this is going to be a right fit. And then you flip it back. You get some more content with the doctor breaking down the foot problems, breaking down how these things certainly, and these are all separate videos. But the reality is you should be getting more content from the doctor rather than you using an influencer to create a whole heap of ads. Hey, buy this insole, the thing real best. Bro, after one video of you talking about your experience, that's all we need. But companies here will utilize only content creators and just make ad after ad after ad. No, okay, all right, we don't want to hear from you. Go and find the thought leaders or the experts to break down problems with your foot and insoles and things like that. That content holds more weight because at the end of the day, when we are looking to make a purchase or have a problem, we are always seeking out the experts first. Experts first, testimonials second. Because the experts are going to make the recommendations to solve our problems. And then the other people, whether it's a content creator or not, they can provide testimonials. All right? But we just keep running to the content creators to do ads. And again, it just doesn't work. Because I don't want to hear about a content creator trying to sell me something that they're not the expert in. You could tell me, okay, you've used it and it works for you, great, but I still want to hear, I'm still going to be looking for the experts to learn more about the product, right? All right, so the importance of influencer marketing, kind of touched on that a bit, right? So in an era where consumers are increasingly distrusting of traditional advertising, Influencer marketing offers an effective way for businesses to build trust and credibility. And here's why this is so important, right? Because for one, audience engagement. Influencers have a knack for generating high levels of audience engagement. Their followers trust their recommendations and are likely to interact with content associated with them, right? So if your content creator is using products and they love it, right? Chances are, as a brand, that's an opportunity for you to tap into that audience. If that content creator is genuinely a fan of your product. And again, we hardly do that because, for one, the brands are just running to any and everybody to promote their products. And two, content creators are promoting any and everything because they want to be full-time content creators just making content and getting paid. So, that trust comes into question. Anyway, let's keep it moving. Another reason why it's important, increased reach, influencer marketing. Businesses can expand their reach significantly by partnering with influencers whose followers align with their target market. Brands can tap into new and larger audiences. That's key, right? Having that target market with a dedicated following and being on a brand being able to tap into that audience, again, key. Another reason why it's important, authenticity. Influencers are often seen as more authentic and less salesy than traditional advertising, which is true. They can endorse a product or service through their regular content, making it appear more natural and less intrusive. And you see, and that is where I want more of my influencer compadres to really take that into consideration. When you are aligning with any and every single brand, you lose that critical element of authenticity, because ain't no way you love and like all of these brands that you are promoting. Like, I've seen some weird combinations. When they make sense, listen, when they make sense, it hits. And you can tell who's being authentic. You could tell who actually uses the product. And you could tell who is just, hey, we got paid. You could always tell, right? Another reason why it's important is cost effectiveness, because depending on the influencer's reach, remember, there's micro influencers that start from as low as 1,000 followers. That's really where influencing starts in the marketing space. From 1,000 followers, you can be considered a micro influencer, all right? Or is it nano? Hold on. Let me just double. Yeah, my bad. It's not a micro. It's nano influencer. So a nano influencer is between 1,000 to 5,000 followers. So you have people who are experts with small followings, but that 1,000 to 5,000, that group of people love them, right? So anyways, moving back to cost effectiveness. So depending on the influencer's reach, this type of marketing can be more cost effective than traditional forms of advertising, especially when it comes to reaching specific demographics or niche markets. Remember, traditional media, print, TV, radio, their expenses have not changed. As a matter of fact, their expenses have gone up. So obviously, if their expenses have gone up, that means the cost to do business with them have gone up as well, right? Unfortunately, that's just the nature of the beast. They're all of their assets, their fixed assets, a radio station, a TV studio, a printing press, all those things are fixed assets. And maintaining them, the rent, the land, the property, all those costs associated with maintaining that business, all of those things have gone up over the years. But, advertising on those platforms, because of social media, have gone down, right? So that's why it's still expensive to market with traditional media. And that is why, paying money to content creators from 1,000 followers minimum all the way up is still usually why it's definitely more effective. But you just need to get it right, okay? Anywho, moving forward. So let's talk about some strategies for successful influencer marketing. Let me give you guys 5 strategies for successful influencer marketing. So the first things first, the most important thing is you need to identify the right influencer, all right? Not every influencer will be the right fit for your brand. You need to choose influencers whose values align with your brands and whose followers match your target audience. We can't stress enough on that point about finding the right influencer, because honestly, here in Trinidad, the majority of brands continue to mess this part up, and they have influencers that, they take your money to promote a product. In the very next post, they're cursing people out. They're doing everything possible to go against all of your brand's values. And you would have known that they were never a fit if your marketing team did their homework. Dare we say, Chief? Chief Products? Chief is the big one in Trinidad that, you have somebody who's been representing your brand for 8+ years, and dragging the brand's identity with every single post. And their marketing team, their ownership, I don't know why they dropped the ball for so many years and kept the person on, but at some point you have to realize, if you're not getting dropped, then clearly what this person is doing, you guys identify with it. Like, that's what it looks like on the outside, right? So choose your influencers wisely. Make sure their values align, because when it does, it's beautiful. It's a work of art. But when it doesn't, ay caramba. Leverage user-generated content. So encourage your influencers, your content creators, to create their own content around your product or service. This enhances authenticity and can lead to higher engagement. The last thing you want to do is work with an influencer and try to dictate their style, try to dictate their pace. It loses the authenticity. It stifles their creativity, and then it just doesn't look authentic, and it just looks like they got paid to promote a product. And a lot of agencies and companies do that. They try to control the content creators' creative process. And you don't want to do that. Let them do their thing. Find people that you align with. Find people whose style you like with, and say, here, this is the product or service we're looking to promote. Go wild. All right? Within reason, of course. Next, maintain clear communication. So keep an open line of communication with your content creators or influencers. Make sure that they understand your brand's values, your goals, your expectations from the partnership, because, again, we have more brands getting this thing wrong than we have brands getting it right. And a lot of it is because a lot of the brands themselves don't know their own values. They don't know their goals. They don't know what types of expectations to set. And it shows when we watch the end result. We can clearly see that there's no goal in mind, and you yourself as a brand don't know your own values. It's clear to see when you kind of know what you're looking for with respects to, what good influencer marketing looks like versus bad influencer marketing. All right. Next, track your metrics and adjust accordingly. And this is an area that almost every business fails in. Implement analytics to track the success of your campaigns and review these metrics regularly and adjust your strategy as necessary. And I'm going to be diving into KPIs just now, right? But we'll stick a pin on that because I'm going to come to KPIs just now. And last but not least, long-term partnerships. Rather than one-off endorsements, consider forming long-term partnerships with content creators. This can lead to more authentic endorsements and a stronger connection between the influencer, their followers, and your brand. And that could only make sense because when you are a content creator who's jumping from brand to brand, promoting every single brand, you lose your authenticity, and people just start to tune you out because you are an ad yourself. You become an ad. You become a TV ad. You become a commercial. You become a billboard, and we ignore these things at this time period, right? So form long-term partnerships, because a person, the regular consumer, will look and say, "Oh wow, this person has been repping this brand for years. Clearly, they believe in the product." Right? There's a higher, likelier chance that you believe in the product when you have been repping that brand for a long term, rather than, you're just jumping from brand to brand. Anybody that has some money willing to throw your way, to make you dance, do your thing, you just accepting everything. All right. So long-term partnerships are a great way to build authenticity and to really show that, your content creator loves your brand and, it's builds trust. So let's move on to KPIs, key performance indicators for influencer marketing to ensure your success of your campaigns. So to measure the effectiveness of your influencer marketing campaign, here are some KPIs that you can consider. Please, folks, take notes because y'all are only focused on reach, all right? So let's get that one out the way. The first one is reach and impressions. This is the lowest hanging fruit. This has the least bit of weight and means the least to businesses, right? When you are going to speak to the CEO and you tell them about this excellent campaign that you did, they want to hear what the ROI is. They don't give a goddamn that you got X amount of impressions, right? It's the lowest hanging fruit. It's a low hanging fruit to measure, how did this piece of content perform? But it's not a KPI that your decision makers in your companies care about because it means nothing to them. It means something to you as the marketer. But reach and impressions, this measures how many people saw the post, and it helps you understand the potential size of the influencer's audience. That's all that does. And that's all we ever track for across the region. Next up, engagement rate. So this includes things like likes, comments, shares, and saves. A high engagement rate signifies that the influencer's audience is actively interacting with their content, right? So this is, again, not as low as reach and impressions, but it's the next thing up, right? Still not something. Reach and impressions and engagement rate are two KPIs that mean nothing to decision makers. They only mean something for you, the marketer, to see whether or not, to get a temperature check, whether this piece of content you guys are doing is performing well, okay? Because if your reach and impressions are low, it's reaching nobody. If the engagement is low, that means nobody cares. So you're not going to get any of the other important KPIs. So there's really 5 KPIs you want to track. The lowest 2 are reach and impressions and engagement rate. Those mean something to the marketers themselves. They mean nothing to decision makers because at the end of the day, reach and impressions and engagement rate doesn't mean that the person took an action, nor did it mean that they converted, right? So let's bring it on home. The next 3 KPIs are the most important ones. So third on your list is click-through rate, CTRs. If the influencer's content includes a link to your website or a link to a product, the CTR will show how many people clicked on it, right? Now, CTRs are big because if they've liked it enough to now click through, there's now a potential for conversion, right? So the 4th KPI to measure is your conversion rate. This measures how many people completed a desired action after engaging with the influencer's content, such as making a purchase, signing up for a newsletter, or downloading an app. Those are 3 common things that you are using an influencer to drive a conversion to. Did it lead to a purchase? All right. Did somebody go to your product and use the influencer's affiliate link or use the influencer's discount code and make a purchase? Did people sign up for your newsletter? And if you have a CRM, you can track where your leads are coming in from, right? Or did they download an app? And again, when you have your CRM and your tools, you can track where your leads are coming from, where your conversions are coming from, right? That being said, most businesses don't have a website to make purchases. And remember, we're in the Caribbean, so there's no e-commerce on any of the social media platforms, which means you need to have a website in order to have a sale go through, right? And if you don't have a website, there's no sales coming through online. So there's no discount codes, there's no affiliate links, there's none of that, right? If you don't have a website, chances are you don't have a newsletter. Even though you can have a newsletter without having a website, most businesses that don't have a website are not even thinking newsletter, right? So most businesses don't have a newsletter in the Caribbean. And then they definitely If they don't have a website or a newsletter, they most definitely do not have an application. So what are you measuring conversion on? What is your idea of conversion when you don't have anything for the influencers to drive traffic to for conversion to happen? Right? Then last but not least, the most important thing is return on investment, ROI. This is the ultimate measure of a campaign's success. Calculate the ROI by comparing the revenue generated through the campaign against the cost associated with the campaign. I'll say that again. Return on investment. This is the ultimate measure of a campaign's success. Calculate the ROI by comparing the revenue generated through the campaign against the costs associated with the campaign. You cannot really measure how well the campaign succeeded when you don't have things like your website so that you could generate sales and purchases or affiliate links or discount codes. You know, if you don't have a newsletter or an application and there's no real conversion, there's no real ROI that you can track. And that's where a lot of businesses get this thing wrong, because you're just using your business is only on social media, or if you do have a website, it's usually a static website. There's no e-commerce or anything happening. So you're really only ever tracking reach and impressions. Most businesses aren't even going the extra step and tracking engagement rate. They're just looking at reach and impressions and saying, yes, great. We worked this influencer. We got 10,000 impressions, and that's really it. All right. Not everybody is even tracking engagement rate. Did they like, comment, share, save? If you're not tracking that at bare minimum, again, and that's significant to marketers, but that's not information decision makers care about. They want to know. Talk to them about your conversion. Talk to them about the sales. Talk to them about the signups for an event, a newsletter, a downloading of an app. How much did you spend? How much did we get back? That's what they want to know. But you have to have those things, the tools to measure. You have to have the platforms and things in place to even have a sale happen or sign up or something like that. All right. So you want to keep those in mind. Now, while influencer marketing has its advantages, it also comes with its fair share of drawbacks. So I'm not going to dive too deep into the drawbacks. Let's keep this one on the positive note, right? And I'm going to give you guys 3 downsides that you need to consider when working with influencers. So number 1 is influencer fraud. This is one of the major challenges in influencer marketing, because some influencers inflate their follower counts using bots or purchasing their followers, which can result in businesses investing in influencers whose reach is largely non-existent. It's all bots. This can lead to a poor return on investment. So again, if the person you are working with has a large following and the majority of their following is bots, well, those people don't exist, and you are never going to get a return on investment because you can't make money off of ghosts. At least not yet. Unless you're the Ghostbusters. That's the only time you can make money off of ghosts, if you're Ghostbusters. Second drawback is lack of control over content. So while allowing influencers to create their own content can lead to more authentic endorsements, it also means giving up a degree of control over your brand's image. If an influencer misrepresents your product or fails to comply with your guidelines or even the instructions of the product and gets a negative experience, it could lead to a negative image for your brand and even legal complications. And we are seeing a hell of a lot more of that, right? In the Caribbean, we're not seeing a lot of the legal complications yet, even though a couple of lawyers I know have definitely said that, but they just haven't come out to really speak about it. And maybe I should. I think maybe I might invite a couple of IP lawyers to come and have a conversation about some of the legal side, some of the legal battles they are facing with respects to content creators and companies. Right, I think that'd be a very good conversation. But yeah, when you lose that control over your, and this is why a lot of brands try to control as much of it as possible, to the point where it becomes authentic. You have to be to the point where it comes inauthentic. You need to strike that balance, because if you control the process too much, then it loses its authenticity. But if you just give free reign, and the product, the campaign that you guys are doing comes back and it just misrepresents your brand altogether, then you could lose. You'd have to go into damage control. All right. Next up, and this is very important. This is probably the biggest downside to working with an influencer, right? Influencers, unfortunately, are a dime a dozen, and they are short-lived and volatile. So content creators especially, not necessarily the celebrities or the thought leaders and experts, those people have longevity. But content creators in this day and age, their popularity is very short-lived and volatile. Content creators' popularity can be fickle, with their impact often being transient. They're popular today. Trends and popular individuals can rise and fall swiftly on social media platforms, meaning a successful influencer partnership can be very short-lived. Additionally, any controversy or negative behavior by an influencer could quickly tarnish your brand's image if you are associated with them in the long run. All right? These risks underline the importance of thoroughly vetting potential content creators and influencers and having clear agreements and strategies in place before launching the campaign. So again, folks, that is a very big one because we have seen influencers come, we've seen them go, right? Celebrities have staying power. Thought leaders and experts in the space, because they've spent so many years working in their craft and building up their name in an industry, or building up their clientele, building up their base. They have staying power because they've built up their expertise in a space for years, and they're usually credible people, certified people who are experts in their space. Those people have staying power. But just regular content creators / influencers, they typically don't have staying power, right? They rise and fall with trends and platforms, because some people were popular on Vine and never made the jump to Instagram or TikTok or whatever, right? So people come and go, all right? Influencer marketing, folks, is a powerful tool in the modern marketer's arsenal. And again, I stress, influencer marketing is a tool in the modern marketer's arsenal, a very powerful tool. And by using the right strategies and closely monitoring your key performance indicators, businesses can find success and build stronger connections with their target audience. But remember, effective influencer marketing is less about reaching a large number of people and more about reaching the right people. Okay? And if you listen to this episode, and you really listen to this episode, you will start to look around and see why companies continue to get it wrong. I have no issue with anybody that is creating content, and in their journey of creating content, they have built a large following. That is great for them. That does not mean that you marketers out here, and I always blame the companies, 99% of my blame goes to the companies, because at the end of the day, a content creator is not paying themselves. They're not selecting themselves for a campaign. It's the companies, the marketers working for these companies that go out and they find people who are not a fit because they're only focused on large audience, vanity metrics, and reach. And that's it. Check a box. Hey, we did a campaign. Look how much reach it got. And that's it. They check the box. And to untrained eyes, that works. All right? They've checked the box. They can say that, they've protected their job. Okay? But that is why when you, who are listening to this podcast, when you look around, you will see why influencer marketing doesn't work the way that it should in the Caribbean. Because the companies themselves don't have platforms or the tools in place to allow conversion to happen. If you have no website, what are you selling? What discount code are you using when you have no e-commerce platform? And social media in the Caribbean doesn't have e-commerce. You don't have a newsletter. What conversion are you driving? You're not doing events. What signups are you driving? What signups are you getting? So if you don't have any of those things in place, then you're only ever focused on reach and awareness and engagement. The two lowest hanging fruits, the two lowest KPIs that don't mean nothing to anybody with a title in the organization. You can't go to your COO or your CEO and say, "Hey, we did this campaign. Look how much likes we got. We reached 10,000 people." They don't care. They care about how much money did we make. How many people registered to our upcoming event? That is what matters to them. And if you don't have the things in place to track any of that, you're not speaking their language. And that is why marketing budgets get cut every single year. Because you're not putting the things in place for it to make sense to the company. You're not tying your marketing efforts into business KPIs, the things that matter, the things that pay your salary, the things that earn the company money. You are literally an expense to yourself, and you are making your own self redundant when you continuously create campaigns that do not tie back into a business KPI. All right? So that is my episode on the proper use of influencer marketing. All right? I hope you guys and gals took notes. I hope this was another informative episode. If you enjoyed today's episode, do me a solid. Please, whatever platform you're using, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, you name it, please rate the podcast, right? That goes a long way in continuously helping to grow the Digipreneur FM family. And if you really enjoyed today's episode, please drop a review. I read all of the reviews. The reviews help me ensure that we keep the podcast, on point, and I give you guys the content that you guys want and ask for. And people who are looking to get this type of information via podcast and are looking at the podcast, deciding whether or not to even give it a listen, are going to read the reviews as well. Your reviews really matter, and if you really want to help me and support me, I don't even ask for money. I don't ask for much. Drop a review, drop a rating. That goes a long way for me and helping the podcast continue to grow. If you want to learn more about building your digital presence and monetizing your platforms, check out the KaronRose.com website. Link to that in the show notes. And also to stay up to date on the podcast, check out the Digipreneur.fm website to stay up to date on all things podcasts. It is a Wednesday, so it is hump day. I hope you guys and gals, have made it to the middle of the week, safe, sound. And again, if you're still working on it, if you're still fighting the good fight, remember, continue to fight that good fight. Better days are coming. Let's put in that work to continue to build our brands and participate and putting all the things in place to participate in the global economy. All right. Love to hear from you. Reach out on all social media platforms, Facebook, LinkedIn, TikTok, Instagram, Threads. I'm on Threads. Reach out to me on any one of those platforms at Karon Rose, KeronRose. All right. See you guys in the next episode. Enjoy the rest of your week and take care.
You've been listening to the Digiboss, Karon Rose. We hope your notepad was filled after this episode. Make sure to like, rate, and review the show. The learning doesn't stop, folks. And to make sure you don't miss any gems from the Digiboss, go over and follow him on all social media platforms at Karon Rose. Folks, don't just sit there with a notepad. We need you to implement at least one thing into your business before the next episode. That's the only way your business levels up. Thanks for listening to Digipreneur FM. Now go be great.